Single mother found a hidden tunnel with her daughter. But what was inside made her freeze. Jennifer Miller was determined to rebuild her life after a messy divorce. The rural house she bought for an almost symbolic price in the countryside of Pennsylvania represented a new beginning for her and her 6-year-old daughter, Emily. It was during the first week in the new house that Emily was playing near the old stone well when Duke, the German shepherd they had adopted, began frantically scratching a loose board. Jennifer approached curiously when the girl excitedly shouted that she had found a secret passage. Upon removing the wood, they discovered a narrow entrance that went down into the ground. With the cell phone flashlight, they cautiously descended the stone staircase and found a preserved room with antique furniture covered by white sheets. Emily ran to a shelf full of children's toys, while Jennifer froze upon seeing dozens of photos on the wall. They were all of her as a child, in places she couldn't remember. "Mommy, look!" Emily pointed to a porcelain doll, identical to the one Jennifer had in her childhood. "It's just like yours, isn't it?" Jennifer's heart raced. How could those objects be there? How did someone have photos of her that she didn't even have herself? Her hands trembled as she picked up one of the photographs. It was her at 5 years old, wearing a blue dress she had never seen before in a garden she didn't recognize. "Mom, why are you crying?" Emily approached, worried. "It's nothing, my love. Let's go up now." Jennifer tried to hide her nervousness, but her mind was buzzing with questions. During the following days, Jennifer couldn't stop thinking about what she had found. She tried to research the history of the house at the town records office, but the information was confusing. The seller, Richard Johnson, had moved to New York right after the sale and wasn't answering her calls. Emily, on the other hand, seemed fascinated by the discovery. Every day she asked to go down into the tunnel and play with the old toys. It was during one of these playtimes that the girl asked a question that left Jennifer even more intrigued. "Mommy, who is the lady in the photo hugging you?" Jennifer quickly went down to see what Emily was talking about. The girl was pointing to a photograph she hadn't noticed before, hidden behind others. It was herself, still a child, in the arms of a woman with grey hair and a gentle smile, a woman she had never seen before. "I don't know, Emily. It must be some mistake," she replied, but her voice came out shaky. That night, after Emily fell asleep, Jennifer went back to the tunnel alone. More calmly, she examined every corner of the mysterious room. She found an old dresser and, upon opening the drawers, discovered perfectly preserved children's clothes. Clothes that seemed to have been made especially for her when she was little. At the bottom of the last drawer, her fingers found something that made her blood run cold. A birth certificate with her name, but with details that didn't match what she knew. According to the document, she had been born right there, in the town of St. Anthony's Hill. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out, now continuing. Jennifer spent the entire night examining every item found in the tunnel. There were handwritten letters, all signed by someone named Lucy. The letters spoke of missing a dear little daughter and the hope of a reunion. Every word touched a wound that Jennifer didn't even know existed. The next morning, she decided to look for Mrs. Catherine, the closest neighbor, a 70-year-old lady who lived on the property next door. Maybe she knew something about the previous residents. "Good morning, Mrs. Catherine. I wanted to ask some questions about the house I bought." The elderly woman's expression changed completely when Jennifer mentioned the tunnel. Mrs. Catherine, who had seemed distant until then, suddenly became very interested. "Dear, did you find Lucy's room?" she asked with teary eyes. "Did you know the previous owner?" "Know her? Lucy was my best friend for over 40 years. She was the one who built that room underground like a sanctuary." Jennifer sat on Mrs. Catherine's porch, eager for answers. "A sanctuary for what?" "For the daughter she lost, dear. The daughter who was taken from her when she was very young." Jennifer's world seemed to spin. "What do you mean, taken?" "It was a difficult time, you know. Lucy was single. The family was ashamed. They forced her to give the child up for adoption, but she never accepted it, never stopped searching." "And what happened to that child?" Mrs. Catherine looked intently at Jennifer. That, my dear, only God knows. But Lucy always believed that one day she would return home. Jennifer returned to her house with her mind racing. The coincidences were too many to ignore. She decided to call her adoptive mother, Rose Miller, who lived in Philadelphia. "Mom, I need to ask you something important. Do you remember exactly how my adoption happened?" The silence on the other end of the line was too long. "Why are you asking this now, Jennifer?" "Please, Mom. It's important. Look, dear, you know we've always been honest with you about being adopted, but some details, maybe it's better to talk in person." "Mom, was I born in St. Anthony's Hill?" Another silence. Then a heavy sigh. "How did you find out?" Jennifer broke down in tears. All the pieces were starting to fall together in a way that was both painful and beautiful. "The house where I'm living, it belonged to my biological mother, didn't it?" "Jennifer, my love, come to Philadelphia. Let's talk properly. There's a lot you need to know." But Jennifer couldn't wait. She returned to the tunnel with Emily and for the first time truly observed every detail. The photos weren't of just any child. They were carefully preserved memories of moments she didn't remember, but that someone had kept with great love. "Mommy, look at this!" Emily had found an old music box. When she opened it, a soft melody began to play, and inside was a photo of a young woman holding a baby. Jennifer took the photo and looked closely. The young woman had her eyes, her face shape. The resemblance was impossible to deny. "Emily, I think we found something very special here." "What, Mommy?" "I think we found our family's story, my love." At that moment, Jennifer's phone rang. It was an unknown number. "Hello. Jennifer Miller, this is Richard Johnson. I heard you found my sister's room." Jennifer nearly dropped the phone. "Your sister?" "Lucy was my older sister. And if you found what I think you found, well, maybe it's time we talked in person." "Mr. Johnson, I don't understand anything that's happening." "I know, dear, I know. Look, I'm returning from New York tomorrow. How about we meet? There's a story you need to hear, a story about why Lucy never sold that house, until now." Jennifer spent the night awake, trying to process everything. Emily slept peacefully beside her, unaware of the whirlwind of emotions her mother was experiencing. The next morning, Mrs. Catherine knocked on the door with a tray of coffee and cheese bread. "Dear, I slept poorly all night thinking about our conversation yesterday. There are some things you might want to see." "What kind of things, Mrs. Catherine?" "Lucy gave me some keepsakes before she passed. She made me promise to only give them if the right person appeared." "And how do you know I'm the right person?" Mrs. Catherine smiled with tears in her eyes. "Dear, you have her eyes. You have her way of tilting your head when you're thinking. And more importantly, you appeared exactly where Lucy always said her daughter would show up." Emily appeared at the door in pajamas, rubbing her eyes. "Good morning, Mrs. Catherine." "Good morning, Princess." The elderly woman bent down to the girl's level. "You know, you remind me so much of someone I knew a long time ago." "Who?" "A very kind lady who lived here. She would have loved to meet you." Jennifer watched the interaction between Emily and Mrs. Catherine, and a strange feeling of déjà vu washed over her. It was as if that scene had happened before, in another time. After breakfast, Mrs. Catherine took them to her house and opened an old trunk. Inside were more photos, letters, and an object that made Jennifer's heart stop. A baby bracelet with her name engraved. "Lucy had this bracelet made with the town jeweler when you were born. It was the only thing she could give you before she had to say goodbye." Jennifer held the bracelet with trembling hands. It was delicate, made with so much care that it seemed to pulse with love. "Mrs. Catherine, why did Lucy never try to find me before?" "Dear, she did try, for years and years. But back then, adoption processes were different, especially when it involved influential families. Your adoptive family, well, they had many connections." "What do you mean?" "Your adoptive father was a famous lawyer in Philadelphia, wasn't he?" "Those people knew how to keep records well hidden," Jennifer confirmed with a nod. Her adoptive father, Charles Miller, had indeed been a respected lawyer. She had always wondered why her adoptive parents never shared details about her origins. Lucy even hired a detective, spent all her savings. But the papers had been altered. Your name on the adoption certificate was different from your birth name. Different how? You were registered here as Jennifer Johnson Miller, but in the adoption it became just Jennifer Miller. Another piece of the puzzle fell into place. The Johnson surname explained the connection to Richard. Emily, who was playing with Duke in Mrs. Catherine's backyard, suddenly came running. "Mommy! Mommy! Duke found something buried!" The three women rushed to see what the dog had dug up. It was a small metal box, rusted with time. "This must have been buried for years," observed Mrs. Catherine. Inside the box, they found more letters and a rudimentary map showing the exact location of the tunnel on Jennifer's property. One of the letters was dated just a few months earlier. The handwriting, though shaky, was still legible. "If you're reading this, my daughter, it's because you've finally come home. Forgive me for not fighting harder when I was young. Forgive me for taking so long to find a way to bring you back. This house has always been yours. The tunnel is my gift to you, a place where I kept every memory, every photo, every moment I spent dreaming of our reunion. I hope one day you can forgive a mother who never stopped loving you. Your mother who loves you eternally, Lucy." Jennifer could no longer hold back her tears. Emily, seeing her mother cry, hugged her tightly. "Why are you sad, Mommy?" "I'm not sad, my love. I'm feeling many things at once." Mrs. Catherine approached and put her hand on Jennifer's shoulder. "Dear, Lucy passed away in peace because she was sure you would return. She always said, 'Catherine, my daughter will come home. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but she will come back.'" At that moment, a car stopped in front of the house. It was Richard Johnson, a man of about 50, with features vaguely reminiscent of Jennifer's. "Jennifer?" he asked hesitantly. "Mr. Richard." He looked at her for a long moment as if seeing a ghost. "You look just like her when she was young." "Exactly like Lucy." The meeting was emotional and revealing. Richard told her that Lucy had spent her last years planning how to get Jennifer to return to the family home without forcing the situation. She knew that if you learned the truth right away, you might feel pressured, so she arranged everything to make it seem natural. How so? The sale of the house for a symbolic price wasn't a coincidence. Lucy left specific instructions. The house could only be sold to a single mother with a young daughter. When you showed up, well, I knew right away it was you. But how could you be sure? Besides the physical resemblance, you asked a question during the house tour that confirmed everything for me. Jennifer tried to remember. What question? You asked if you could plant a garden where there were some old stones in the backyard. Those stones marked the exact spot where Lucy kept the childhood garden she made for you. A garden she never had the heart to remove, even after all these years. Richard also brought a revelation that took Jennifer by surprise. She had other relatives in the area. Lucy had a younger sister, Annette, who lives in Lancaster, and there's your cousin Robert, who has a farm nearby. You have a large family, Jennifer. Why did they never try to find me, too? Because Lucy asked them to leave it to her. She was afraid that too many people looking for you at once would scare your adoptive family and they would move away with you. Emily, who had been listening to the conversation with the seriousness of an adult, suddenly asked, "Uncle Richard, did Grandma Lucy leave something for me too?" Richard smiled and took a small box from the car. "Yes, she did, Princess. She said one day she would have a granddaughter and wanted to have a special gift saved." Inside the box was a handmade cloth doll with a little blue dress identical to one Jennifer wore in a photo from the tunnel. Lucy made this doll in the last months of her life. She embroidered every detail thinking of the granddaughter she would still get to know. Emily hugged the doll tenderly, as if recognizing something familiar in it. In the days that followed, Jennifer began to understand the extent of the love Lucy had nurtured for her all those years. The tunnel wasn't just a hiding place, it was a sanctuary where a mother kept hope alive. Every object there had a story. The children's clothes were based on the few photos Lucy had managed to obtain through the private detective. The toys were chosen, imagining what would make a little girl happy. The photos were copies she had gathered over the years through people who knew the adoptive family. "How did she get so much information about my life?" Jennifer asked Richard during one of their conversations. "Lucy was determined, Jennifer. She became friends with the cleaning lady at the school you attended. She paid a woman who worked in the building where you lived to get news about you. She knew about your marriage. She knew when Emily was born. She knew when you got divorced." "And why only now did she—" "Because only now did you need to come home. Lucy always said you would only return when you were ready to receive what she had to give." The wisdom of those words touched Jennifer deeply. Indeed, if she had discovered the truth during her marriage, she probably wouldn't have given it the proper importance. But now, at a time of rebuilding her life, each discovery meant healing and renewal. Rose Miller, her adoptive mother, finally decided to visit Jennifer in St. Anthony's Hill. The meeting was tense at first. "Why did you never tell me the whole truth?" Jennifer asked. Rose sighed deeply. "Because when we adopted you, Jennifer, your biological mother had already officially given up her rights. We thought it would be better for you not to know the painful details." "What painful details?" "Lucy was very young, unmarried, at a time when that was a scandal. Her family, well, they weren't kind to her. We thought you'd be happier not knowing you'd been rejected." "But she never rejected me," Jennifer protested. "She was forced to give me up. We only found that out years later, dear. And by then everything was settled. You were our daughter. We were your family. Stirring up the past could cause more pain than healing." Emily, who was playing in the tunnel with her new doll, suddenly came running. "Grandma Rose, do you want to see the secret place Grandma Lucy made for Mommy?" The little girl's innocent question broke the tension of the moment. Rose followed Emily to the tunnel, and upon seeing everything Lucy had preserved, began to cry. "My God! Look at all this love. So much love kept safe. Aren't you mad that I want to learn more about my biological family's history?" Rose hugged Jennifer tightly. "Daughter, I raised you to be a strong and independent woman. If knowing your origins makes you happy, then I'm happy too. You can have love for two mothers." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now continuing. The reconciliation between Jennifer and Rose paved the way for other family members to learn the truth. Charles Miller, though already elderly, made a point of going to St. Anthony's Hill. "Daughter, if I could turn back time, I would have done things differently," he said, looking at the photos in the tunnel. "This woman loved you deeply." "Dad, you loved me too. I had a happy childhood. But you could have had even more. You could have known this wonderful grandmother." Emily, with the wisdom of children, put things in perspective. "Grandpa Charles, if Mommy had stayed here since she was little, I wouldn't have been born, right? Because she wouldn't have met my daddy in Philadelphia." The observation made everyone reflect on how life has its mysterious paths. Richard organized a meeting with the other relatives. Annette, Lucy's sister, was a vibrant 68-year-old lady who cried when she saw Jennifer. "Girl, you're the spitting image of Lucy when she was young," she exclaimed. "She talked about you so much that we already knew you by heart. Cousin Robert brought his wife and children." Suddenly, Jennifer found herself surrounded by a large family that welcomed her with open arms. "Aunt Jennifer," said Luke, Robert's son, "Grandma Lucy always saved a place at the Christmas table for you. She would set a plate and say that one day you would come eat with us." These details deeply moved Jennifer. Lucy hadn't just kept objects and photos. She had kept her daughter's presence alive in her daily life. Emily was delighted with the big family. For the first time in her life, she had cousins her own age to play with. "Mommy, now I have 2 grandpas, 3 grandmas, and lots of cousins," she said, beaming. During one of the afternoons when the whole family was gathered at the house, Mrs. Catherine appeared with a special surprise, an old cassette tape. "Lucy recorded this for you, Jennifer. She said if you ever showed up, I should give it to you." With trembling hands, Jennifer played the tape. Lucy's voice, soft and emotional, echoed through the room. "My dear daughter, if you're hearing this, it means my greatest dream has come true. You've come home. I know you must be confused, maybe even a little angry with me for not fighting harder when I was young. But I want you to know that not a single day has passed when I haven't thought of you. Every sunrise I'd look out the window and imagine how you might be. Every evening I prayed that you would be happy wherever you were. The recording continued, with Lucy telling family stories, describing each relative's personality, explaining family traditions. Your great-grandmother, my mother, made the best dulce de leche in the region. I taught the recipe to Mrs. Catherine so she could teach it to you when you arrived. Your great-great-grandmother embroidered the most beautiful dresses I've ever seen. I saved some pieces for you. Emily listened, fascinated, as Lucy described how she imagined her granddaughter would be. I hope my little granddaughter is sweet and curious. I hope she enjoys playing in the backyard and listening to stories. I made a special doll for her, thinking she might have my way of liking things made with care. The tape lasted almost 2 hours. Lucy had recorded everything she wanted to say, including apologies and declarations of love. Jennifer, my love, if you ever feel lost, remember you have a family here that loves you. Even if I'm no longer physically present when you hear this, my love for you is eternal. You are my daughter, you are my joy, you are my hope fulfilled. At the end of the recording there was a special surprise. Lucy sang a lullaby she used to make up when Jennifer was a baby. Sleep, my love, sleep in peace. Mommy is here, she won't leave anymore. Dream of gardens, dream of moonlight, until one day you return. Jennifer discovered she knew that melody. Throughout her childhood, she sang that same song to herself during difficult times, not knowing where she had learned it. I remember this song, she whispered. I've always known this song. Lucy sang it to you every night during your first months, explained Mrs. Catherine. She said this song would stay in your heart forever. That night, Jennifer sang the song to Emily, passing on the family tradition that had been interrupted but not lost. As the weeks passed, Jennifer began to settle permanently in St. Anthony's Hill. She managed to transfer her work as a teacher to the local school, and Emily adapted perfectly to the new life. The house, which once seemed too big for 2 people, was now always full. Weekends became family gatherings where everyone came together to catch up and build new memories. Richard became the uncle Jennifer never had. He told stories from childhood with Lucy, taught Emily to fish in the river that ran through the property, and helped with house renovations. Lucy would be so happy to see this, he said, watching Emily playing with her cousins in the backyard where Lucy had dreamed of seeing her daughter play. Annette taught Jennifer how to make the family's traditional dishes. The great-grandmother's dulce de leche recipe became Emily's favorite dessert. Robert and his family started visiting the house as if it were an extension of their own family. The children formed such strong bonds that Emily cried when she had to go to school because she wanted to play more with her cousins. Mrs. Catherine became a surrogate grandmother to Emily. The girl spent entire afternoons listening to stories about Grandma Lucy, and each day felt more connected to the grandmother she never physically knew, but who was present in every corner of that house. One day Emily asked a question that touched Jennifer's heart. "Mummy, can Grandma Lucy see me from where she is?" "Why do you ask that, my love?" "Because sometimes, when I'm playing in the secret tunnel, I feel like someone is smiling at me, like someone is happy to see me there." Jennifer hugged her daughter, moved by the girl's sensitivity. "I'm sure she can see, Emily. And I'm sure she's very happy seeing you play with the toys she kept with so much care." The tunnel became Emily's favorite place. She organized the toys, cleaned the shelves with Jennifer's help, and turned the space into her special corner. She often brought her cousins to see Grandma Lucy's magical place. During the house renovations, they found more surprises. Behind a false wall in the kitchen, they discovered a small safe with documents and some jewelry that Lucy had saved for her daughter. Among the jewelry, there was a graduation ring that caught Jennifer's attention. Richard explained that it belonged to her biological father. He was a good boy from a nice family, Jennifer, a college student who loved Lucy, but his family was too traditional to accept the relationship. What happened to him? He moved to Rio de Janeiro when he found out you were going to be born. His family made him. Lucy never heard from him again. Does he know I exist? We don't know. At the time, his family forbade any contact. Jennifer decided she wouldn't look for her biological father at that moment. She had found a wonderful family and wanted to enjoy every moment of this discovery before dealing with other complex issues. 3 months after discovering the tunnel, Jennifer organized a special party. She wanted to honor Lucy and make her return to her family roots official. "Let's have a Sunday lunch in memory of Grandma Lucy," she announced to the family. Everyone contributed. Annette brought the family's famous stuffing. Robert supplied the meat from his farm. Mrs. Catherine made the milk candy from her great-grandmother's recipe. Emily, with Jennifer's help, prepared a great-granddaughter's special fruit salad. The table was plentiful, full of love and tradition. Before they started eating, Richard suggested a moment of silence in honor of Lucy. "Thank you, sister, for never giving up," he said aloud. "Thank you for bringing our family back." Emily, with her spontaneity, added, "Thank you, Grandma Lucy, for saving the toys for me." The moment was emotional and brought the feeling that somehow Lucy was there with them. During lunch, they talked about turning the tunnel into something special. Emily had an idea that delighted everyone. "How about we make a library down there? Did Grandma Lucy like to read?" "She loved it," Annette replied. "She read everything she could get her hands on." "Then let's make a library in her honor." The girl clapped, excited. The idea evolved. They decided to create a community library in the tunnel, keeping Lucy's personal items in a special section, but opening the space so other children in the area could have access to books. Robert offered to help with the structural part. Annette said she knew a woman in town who did carpentry work. Mrs. Catherine promised to organize a book donation drive. Within a few weeks, the project came to life. The community embraced the idea with enthusiasm. People who didn't even know the family's story came to offer help. "It's amazing how your story has touched people," commented the town mayor, who made sure to officially support the project. During the tunnel renovation work, they made another exciting discovery, a second secret compartment that Lucy had created. "My God," Richard whispered. "Lucy never told me about this." In this second compartment, they found letters that Lucy had written to Jennifer over the years, but never sent. There were birthday letters, Christmas letters, graduation letters, wedding letters, all the important dates she had followed from afar. "My dear daughter, today you turn 15. I imagine you must be a beautiful young lady. I hope you are happy. I hope you have true friends and that you know how much you are loved. My love, I heard you got married." I cried with happiness. "I hope your husband makes you very happy and that you have a life full of love. Jennifer, my princess, you had a daughter. I'm a grandmother. I cried so much when Mrs. Catherine told me. I prayed so hard for your baby to be healthy and happy." Each letter revealed the careful attention Lucy paid to Jennifer's life. She knew everything, participated in everything, even from afar. The last letter was dated just a few days before Lucy passed. "My beloved daughter, I feel my time is coming to an end. I'm not sad, because I'm sure you will find your way home. When that happens, know that every day of my life was worth it just to know you existed. You were my reason for living, even without being here. Take care of our Emily. She will be a special girl, just like her mother. All my eternal love, Lucy." Reading this last letter was a deeply emotional moment for the whole family. Jennifer understood that a mother's love truly transcends time and space. Emily, with her childlike sensitivity, made an observation that touched everyone. "Mommy, Grandma Lucy wrote that I am our Emily. Does that mean she loved me even before I was born?" "Exactly, my dear. She loved you even before she knew you would exist." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It really helps us who are just starting out. Now, continuing. The Lucy Johnson Miller Community Library was inaugurated 3 months later in an emotional ceremony that brought together the entire community of St. Anthony's Hill. The space turned out beautifully. They kept the original essence of the tunnel, but added new shelves for the donated books. Lucy's memory section was preserved exactly as they found it, with the photos, toys, and personal items protected by a special glass. Emily was named Junior Librarian and took her responsibility of helping other children find interesting books very seriously. "This section here is special," she explained to visitors. "These are the treasures my great-grandmother saved for my mother. She waited her whole life to give these gifts." The family's story spread throughout the region. Local newspapers published articles about the Eternal Love Library. A regional radio station did a special report. But for Jennifer, the most important thing wasn't the attention. It was the sense of completeness she felt every day. "You know," she said to Richard during one of their conversations, "I always felt something was missing in my life. Now I understand that what was missing was this connection to my roots. Lucy always said you would feel the call of your heart when it was the right time to return. And she was right. If I had discovered all this earlier, when I was still married and my life seemed organized, maybe I wouldn't have appreciated it properly. Things happen at the right time, Jennifer. You needed to go through your own experiences to be ready to receive this gift." Emily adapted perfectly to her new life. She made friends at the local school, learned to ride horses with her cousin Luke, and became an expert at telling the story of Grandma Lucy to anyone who would listen. The girl also developed a special relationship with Mrs. Catherine. Every day after school, she would stop by the neighbor's house for a snack and to hear more stories about the grandmother she never met. "Mrs. Catherine, do you think I look like Grandma Lucy?" "Very much so, my little granddaughter. You have her curiosity, her joy, and especially her kind heart." "And my mother?" "Your mother is just like Lucy when she was young, determined, brave, and full of love to give." 1 year after the discovery of the tunnel, Jennifer received an unexpected phone call. It was from a man who introduced himself as Peter Henry Brooks. "Mrs. Jennifer, sorry to bother you. I got your number through a report about the library you created. I would really like to talk to you about something personal." "About what, Mr. Peter?" It's about Lucy Johnson Miller. I met this lady many years ago." Jennifer Miller's heart raced. "What do you mean you met?" "Ma'am, I believe that I am your biological father." Jennifer's world seemed to stop. After months of deciding not to look for her biological father, he appeared spontaneously. "Mr. Peter, how did you find out about me?" "My daughter, I never stopped searching. All these years I hired detectives, looked through records, tried to find some clue about you and your mother. When I saw the article in the newspaper about the library in honor of Lucy, and I saw your photo, I knew right away that you were my daughter." Peter explained that he had been forced to move to Rio de Janeiro by his family, but he never came to terms with having abandoned Lucy. "I tried to come back several times, but my parents always stopped me. When I finally managed to free myself from their influence and return to Pennsylvania, I learned that Lucy had disappeared from the city. I thought they had moved." "And why only now were you able to find us?" "Because Lucy used her maiden name when she went to live in St. Anthony's Hill. I was looking for Lucy Brooks, which was the surname she had adopted when we were dating. It never occurred to me to look for her original last name. Jennifer was torn between the curiosity of meeting her biological father and the fear that this discovery could complicate the family harmony she had found. She talked to Richard about the situation. "What do you think I should do, Uncle?" "Jennifer, you've lived your whole life wondering about your origins. Now that you have the opportunity to complete this puzzle, I think you should at least talk to him." "But what if he's a bad person? What if he wants to take advantage of our situation?" "Then you'll find that out and make your decisions. But what if he's a good person who suffered as much as Lucy did? Don't you think they deserve this chance?" Emily, who had overheard part of the conversation, gave her opinion with the wisdom of a child. "Mommy, if he's my grandpa, I want to meet him. But if he's a bad person, we send him away." The simplicity of Emily's statement made Jennifer decide. She called Peter and arranged a meeting at the Lucy Johnson Miller Library. "I think it would be appropriate for us to meet in the place that honors your mother," she said. On the scheduled day, the whole family was present. Richard made sure to be there to support Jennifer. Annette also came, curious to meet the man who had broken her sister's heart so many years ago. Peter arrived punctually, a man of about 60, well-preserved, with features that Jennifer recognized in her own face. The meeting was emotional. Peter cried when he saw Jennifer and Emily. "My God, you're beautiful, daughter, and this little princess must be my granddaughter." Emily, initially shy, was soon charmed by Peter when he brought as a gift an old doll that had belonged to her paternal grandmother. "Grandpa Peter, Grandma Lucy also made a doll for me." "She did? How wonderful." Both grandmothers thought of the same thing. Peter told his version of the story. At 20, he was in love with Lucy, but his family had different plans for him. "My parents wanted me to marry the daughter of a wealthy farmer. When they found out about the relationship with Lucy and the pregnancy, they gave me an ultimatum. Either I gave up everything and went to study in Rio, or they would completely disinherit me." "And you chose to abandon her?" asked Annette with a tone of reproach. "I was a cowardly 20-year-old boy, Mrs. Annette. I thought I could convince my parents over time that I could come back and marry Lucy later. I never imagined she would be forced to give up our daughter for adoption." Peter explained that he married years later, under family pressure, but the marriage was never happy. "I had 2 children with my ex-wife, but I always knew I had a daughter I never met. This tormented me my whole life." "Do you have other children?" asked Emily, excited about the possibility of having more relatives. "Yes, I do, Princess. You have 2 uncles and 3 cousins who are crazy to meet you." Jennifer was processing everything. Suddenly, her family had expanded even more. Peter showed photos of his other children and grandchildren. He explained that he had always been open with them about having a missing daughter he was searching for. "They were very emotional when they found out I had found you. They really want to meet their sister and niece." During the visit to the tunnel library, Peter was deeply moved seeing everything Lucy had preserved. "She truly never gave up," he whispered, looking at the photos and objects. "And I, like a coward, gave up at the first difficulty." "Mr. Peter," said Richard, "what matters is that everyone has found each other now. Lucy always said everything happens at the right time." Peter stayed in town for several days, lodging at the local inn. Every day he visited Jennifer and Emily, participating in family activities and getting to know the community better. Mrs. Catherine initially received him coldly, still resentful that he had abandoned Lucy, but gradually she became convinced that he had truly suffered from the separation. "Lucy always said you would come back," she admitted to him. "She never spoke ill of you. She said you were young and pressured by your family." "She was too generous. I didn't deserve so much understanding." "Maybe you didn't deserve it then, but you're here now trying to fix what could be fixed." Peter's integration into the family was gradual but natural. He got along very well with Emily, who quickly adopted him as Grandpa Peter. The girl loved having so many grandparents and uncles. "Mom, now I have the biggest family in the whole school," she said proudly. Peter was also enchanted by the library project. He offered to help financially with expanding the space. "I want to contribute to honor Lucy's memory. It's the least I can do after all these years." With Peter's help, they managed to create a larger children's section in the library, with colorful cushions and a special corner for storytelling. Emily became the official storyteller at the library on Saturdays, always starting her sessions by telling the story of Grandma Lucy and her eternal love. Peter's other children came to meet Jennifer and Emily. The meeting was warm and revealed that the paternal family had also suffered from her absence. "Dad always talked about the lost daughter," said Charles, Jennifer's half-brother. "We grew up knowing we had a sister somewhere." "And you never felt jealous?" asked Jennifer. "How could we be jealous of someone who was also a victim of this situation?" replied Patricia, Peter's other daughter. "We always wanted to find you too." Emily quickly bonded with her new cousins. Jennifer's house became the meeting point for 2 families reunited through love and persistence. During an especially emotional Sunday lunch, Peter made a special request. "Jennifer, I know I have no right to ask anything after so many years absent, but I would really like you to give me the chance to be a present father in your life from now on." "Dad," it was the first time Jennifer had called him that, "you already are. Every day you spend here telling me about the paternal family, playing with Emily, giving me advice. You're already being a father." The word "dad," spoken by Jennifer, was a moment of intense emotion for Peter. He cried like a child. "Thank you, daughter. Thank you for giving me this second chance." As the months passed, life in St. Anthony's Hill settled into a new, happy routine. Jennifer worked at the local school in the morning and helped at the library in the afternoon. Emily attended the town school and was one of the most popular children because of her extraordinary story. The library became a landmark in the region. People came from neighboring towns to see the Eternal Love Library and be moved by Lucy's story. Jennifer started receiving invitations to share her story in other communities. She discovered she had a talent for public speaking and that her experience inspired others who had gone through family separations. "It's amazing how our story touches people," she commented to Peter after an especially moving talk. "It's because it's a story of true love, daughter. Lucy's love for you transcended time and space. That inspires anyone." Emily also developed a special talent for storytelling. Her presentations at the library drew attention not only from children, but from adults as well. "Grandma Lucy teaches me the stories. She would tell anyone who asked how she could be such a good storyteller." "How does she teach you, my love?" Jennifer would ask. "In my dreams. She tells me the stories, and I tell them to the other children." These statements from Emily always moved everyone. Whether real or a child's imagination, the connection the girl felt with the great-grandmother she never met was deeply touching. A year and a half after the tunnel's discovery, the moment Jennifer had most feared arrived, Emily started asking about her father. "Mommy, why does my father never come to visit me?" "Because your father and I don't live together anymore, my love, but he's still your father." "But can he come meet our new family? Can he come see Grandma Lucy's library?" Jennifer had maintained minimal contact with her ex-husband since the divorce. Ryan paid child support regularly, but rarely visited Emily. The new life in St. Anthony's Hill had been an opportunity to start over. She decided to call Ryan and tell him about the recent discoveries. "Hi, Ryan. I need to talk to you about something important." "Is something wrong with Emily?" "No, she's fine. But some things have happened here that, well, I think you should know." Jennifer told the whole story of the discoveries about her biological family. Ryan listened in silence. "Wow, Jennifer, what an incredible story. I'm glad you found this family. Emily wants you to come see the library we created in honor of my biological mother." There was a long pause. "Jen, I'm glad you're doing well, but I'm not sure it would be appropriate for me to come there. Our separation was complicated. Ryan, Emily is your daughter. She wants you to know about her new life. It has nothing to do with us. It's about her." After some insistence, Ryan agreed to make a quick visit. The ex-husband's visit was tense at first, but Emily was so excited to show her father everything that the situation quickly relaxed. "Daddy, look at the doll Grandma Lucy made for me. It's beautiful, sweetie. And look at the pictures of Mommy when she was little. And here are the toys Grandma kept for years and years." Ryan was moved to see the dedication with which the library had been organized. "Jen, this is incredible. You've managed to create something truly special. It was a labor of love from the whole family." During the visit, Ryan met Richard, Peter, Annette, and Mrs. Catherine. They all welcomed him cordially, understanding he was an important person in Emily's life. "Your daughter is special," Peter told Ryan. "She has a huge heart and a wisdom that's impressive. She takes after her mother," Ryan replied, looking at Jennifer with a nostalgic smile. At the end of the visit, Ryan had a private conversation with Jennifer. "Jen, you're glowing. I've never seen you so happy and fulfilled. Finding my biological family really filled a void I didn't even know existed. I'm happy for you. And I want to apologize that our marriage didn't work out. Ryan, if our marriage had worked out, I would never have come here. I would never have discovered this whole story. Maybe things happened exactly as they needed to happen. That's a beautiful way to see things. And more importantly, Emily has a huge family that loves her. You'll always be welcome here whenever you want to visit her." Ryan's visit brought important closure for Jennifer. She realized there were no more hurts or resentments. The divorce, which once seemed like a failure, now revealed itself as a necessary step for her to find her true path. Emily was happy to see that her parents could get along in harmony, even though they were no longer married. "Daddy, will you come back to see the library when it gets even bigger?" "Yes, I will, Princess, and I'll bring your paternal grandparents too, if you'd like." "I do. That way I'll have even more grandmas." Emily's ability to embrace all members of her expanded family continued to impress the adults. 2 years after the discovery of the tunnel, the Lucy Johnson Miller Library had become a regional landmark. It received visitors from various cities and had inspired the creation of other similar projects. Jennifer was invited to write a book telling her story. Initially, she resisted the idea, but Peter convinced her. "Daughter, your story can help other people who are searching for their origins. It can give hope to those going through family separations." "But I'm not a writer, Dad." "You don't need to be. You just need to tell your story from the heart." Emily enthusiastically supported the book idea. "Mommy, this way Grandma Lucy's story will last forever. Other girls will get to know about Grandma's love." With the family's encouragement, Jennifer began to write. The process was therapeutic and revealing. By putting the whole experience on paper, she was able to better process all the emotions she had lived through. The book was written in a simple and moving way, focusing on the human aspect of the story. Jennifer avoided excessive dramatization, preferring to let the facts speak for themselves. When the book was ready, the family organized a special launch at the library itself. People from all over the region attended the event. Emily insisted on being the first to receive a signed copy. "To Emily, my beloved daughter, who teaches me every day about the power of true love. With love, Mommy." During the launch, Jennifer gave an emotional speech. "This book isn't just about my story. It's about all the love stories that transcend time and space. It's about all the mothers who keep their children in their hearts, even when they can't hold them in their arms. It's about all the children searching for their origins. And most of all, it's about the strength of family love that always finds a way to reconnect." The book sales exceeded all expectations. Jennifer decided to donate part of the royalties to the maintenance of the library and to create a support project for families searching for missing relatives. Emily, now 8 years old, had developed impressive maturity. She helped organize library events, welcomed visitors with ease, and had become a little ambassador of the family history. "My great-grandmother Lucy taught me that love never gives up," she would tell visitors. "Even when it seems all is lost, love always finds a way." The girl's wisdom moved everyone who heard her. During an interview for a national magazine, the journalist asked Emily what she liked most about her family history. "I like that my family is full of love. I have many grandpas, many grandmas, many uncles and cousins. But what I like most is that Grandma Lucy taught me that when we truly love someone, that love stays in our hearts forever." Emily's response went viral on social media, spreading the family's story even further. 3 years after the discovery of the tunnel, Jennifer was completely settled into her new life. She had been promoted to principal of the local school, the library was a success, her book was being translated into other languages, and her family was larger and more united than she had ever imagined. Peter had permanently moved to St. Anthony's Hill, buying a nearby house to be close to his daughter and granddaughter. On weekends, Jennifer's property became the gathering spot for the entire extended family. Richard had married a local widow and was happier than ever. "Lucy always said I needed to find someone special," he remarked. She was right, as always. Annette had moved closer too to spend more time with her niece and great-niece. She taught Emily how to embroider and crochet, keeping the family's feminine traditions alive. Mrs. Catherine, now 73 years old, was officially considered Emily's honorary grandmother. The girl spent every afternoon at the neighbor's house, listening to stories and learning traditional recipes. Robert and his family also became constant presences. His children and Emily were practically like siblings, always together during school vacations. Peter's paternal family also integrated naturally. Emily had cousins of all ages and loved being the youngest cousin, receiving care and affection from everyone. On a special occasion, Jennifer decided to organize a surprise party to honor all the people who had contributed to her family reunion journey. "I want to throw a party to thank every person who was part of this wonderful story," she announced. The party was held in the backyard of the house, decorated with photos that told the entire family saga. There was a special table with all the family's traditional foods, prepared according to the recipes Lucy had left written down. During the party, Jennifer gave an emotional speech. 3 years ago, I was just a divorced mother looking for a fresh start. Today I am a daughter, granddaughter, niece, cousin, and most importantly, I am a complete person who has found her roots. All of this was possible because a mother never gave up on loving, because a family never gave up searching, and because love, when it is true, always finds a way. Emily, dressed in a new dress that Annette had embroidered especially for the occasion, asked to speak too. I wanted to thank Grandma Lucy for saving so much love for us, and I want to thank our big family for teaching me that love never ends, it only grows. The girl's words brought tears and applause from everyone present. During the party, Mrs. Catherine brought one last surprise, a letter that Lucy had left to be opened when the family was complete. With trembling hands, Jennifer opened the letter. Lucy's handwriting, though weak from age, was still legible. My dear family, if you are reading this, it means my greatest dream has come true. Jennifer has returned home and our family is reunited. I want you to know that every moment of pain was worth it to reach this moment of joy. Jennifer, my beloved daughter, thank you for bringing Emily into our family. Emily, my dear granddaughter, you are proof that love always wins. Peter, if you are reading this, thank you for coming back. All the other dear ones in our family, thank you for taking care of my Jennifer, as I always dreamed they would. Now you are a complete family. Always love each other, always take care of each other, and remember, true love is eternal. With all my love forever, Lucy. The reading of the letter was the most emotional moment of the party. Everyone cried with emotion, feeling Lucy's loving presence blessing that family gathering. Emily took the letter from her mother's hands and said, Grandma Lucy, thank you for waiting for us. Now we will take care of your love forever. At that moment, a gentle breeze rustled the trees in the backyard, as if it were a tender response from Lucy. 4 years after the discovery of the tunnel, the family's life was completely established in a routine of happiness and fulfillment. Emily, now 10 years old, had become an articulate and wise young girl, known throughout the region for her storytelling ability and impressive maturity. The Lucy Johnson Miller Library had expanded once again. With the donations received through Jennifer's book and with the support of the City Council, they managed to build an annex that included a computer room, a small auditorium for lectures, and a community space. Emily had become the official storyteller not only for the library but for the entire region. Schools from neighboring towns invited her for presentations, and she always began her sessions by telling the story of Grandma Lucy's eternal love. What I like most about our story, she would tell the audiences, is that it proves that love is never lost. Even when people are separated, even when it seems like everything is over, love remains alive, waiting for the right time to reunite. Jennifer had become a reference in education in the region. Her experience as principal of the local school and her book about family made her a sought-after speaker. She often traveled to tell her story in other states, always returning home with a sense of accomplishment. Peter had fully integrated into the community. Retired, he dedicated his time to helping at the library, taking care of Emily when Jennifer traveled, and keeping Lucy's memory alive through small community projects. Richard and his new wife, Teresa, had become Emily's favorite aunt and uncle. Teresa, a retired teacher, taught guitar to the girl, who discovered she had a talent for music. Jennifer's house had become the official gathering point for the family. Every Sunday, at least 15 people gathered for the traditional lunch. The table was plentiful, the conversations were lively, and Emily always found an opportunity to talk about some new memory of Grandma Lucy. Today I dreamed that Grandma Lucy was playing the guitar, she shared during one of these lunches. She said she was happy because I'm learning music. These statements from Emily about her dreams with Lucy never failed to move the family. Whether real or imagination, the girl's connection with her great-grandmother was a constant source of affection and inspiration. During one of these Sunday gatherings, Peter made an announcement that surprised everyone. Everyone, I have some news to share. I managed to locate the old house where Lucy lived before coming to St. Anthony's Hill. Where is it? Asked Jennifer, curious. In Oliveville, 2 hours from here. The family that bought the house allowed me to visit. They even found some of Lucy's things that were forgotten in the attic. What kind of things? Asked Emily, excited. More photos, some books, and what appears to be a very old diary. The possibility of discovering even more about Lucy excited the whole family. They decided to organize a trip to Oliveville the following weekend. The journey was thrilling. The house where Lucy had lived before was an old but well-maintained building. The current family, the Smiths, welcomed everyone with great hospitality. "When we heard your story through Peter, we were very moved," said Mrs. Mary Smith. "We decided to search for anything that might have remained from the former resident. In the attic of the house, they found a true time capsule, an old suitcase with belongings that Lucy had left behind when she moved. Inside the suitcase was the diary Peter had mentioned. It was a diary from Lucy's teenage years, where she recorded her dreams, her fears, and especially her plans for the future. "I want to have a beautiful and intelligent daughter," read Jennifer aloud. "I want to teach her everything I know about love, about family, about how to be a strong woman." The diary revealed a young, dreamy Lucy, full of plans and hopes. There were drawings of what her ideal home would look like, lists of names for future children. Jennifer was there on the list of preferred female names, and even sketches of toys she would like to make for her children. "Look here," Emily pointed to a drawing. "It's just like the doll she made for me." Indeed, the sketch in the diary was almost identical to the cloth doll Lucy had left for Emily. "She planned you since her teenage years," said Peter, moved. "Everything she did for you was in her dreams all along." Among the belongings, they also found letters that childhood friends had written to Lucy. The letters revealed a young woman loved by everyone, a leader in her class, always willing to help others. "Lucy, you're going to be a wonderful mother when you grow up," read Mrs. Catherine one of the letters. "You take care of everyone as if they were family." The most exciting discovery was a small box with dried plant seedlings. According to a note from Lucy, they were seeds of flowers she wanted to plant in the garden of the house where she would live with her future family. "Do you think these seeds are still good?" asked Emily. "Let's find out," said Jennifer. "We'll plant them in our garden and see if Grandma Lucy left us one more gift." The trip to Oliveville brought them even closer to Lucy's memory. The group returned to St. Anthony's Hill, loaded with new memories and stories to preserve. In the garden of Jennifer's house, they carefully planted the old seeds. To everyone's surprise, some actually sprouted, producing flowers unlike any they knew. "They're special flowers from Grandma Lucy," declared Emily, taking on the care of the garden as her personal responsibility. The flowers that grew from the old seeds became another symbol of Lucy's eternal love. Emily made sure to bring bouquets to the library every week, spreading the beauty of her great-grandmother's flowers throughout the community. 5 years after the discovery of the tunnel, the family decided to create an official foundation in honor of Lucy. The Lucy Johnson Eternal Love Foundation would aim to help separated families reunite and support community library projects. "We want Grandma Lucy's story to inspire other people and help other families," explained Emily, who at 11 years old already showed impressive social awareness. The foundation started small, but quickly gained support from the entire region. Local businesses contributed donations, the city council offered institutional support, and several towns expressed interest in creating their own Eternal Love libraries. Emily became the official ambassador of the foundation, traveling with Jennifer to tell the family's story and inspire other similar projects. During one of these trips, they met a family that had reunited after 20 years of separation, inspired by Lucy's story. "When we read your book," the mother of this family shared, "we decided to try one more time to find our son. And we made it. He was looking for us too, but didn't know how." Stories like this multiplied. The saga of Lucy, Jennifer, and Emily had become a beacon of hope for many people living in similar situations. Emily developed a special project within the foundation, an archive of family love stories where people could register their own reunion sagas. "Every family has its own special story," she explained. "They all deserve to be told and preserved." The archive became an emotional treasure, gathering hundreds of accounts from families who had reconnected. Emily read all the stories and often got emotional over the different ways love found to overcome obstacles. During an interview for a national television network, the host asked Emily what her biggest dream for the future was. "My biggest dream is for all children in the world to know their families and feel loved as I do. and for all mothers searching for their children to find them, like Grandma Lucy found me through my mother. And you, Emily, do you plan to continue the Foundation's work when you grow up? Of course, Grandma Lucy left me a mission, to spread love in the world, and I will fulfill that mission forever. Emily's determination moved viewers across the country. After the interview, the Foundation received hundreds of offers of support and donations. Jennifer watched her daughter's growth with pride and admiration. Emily had become an eloquent, compassionate, and determined young woman, carrying within her the best qualities of all the generations of strong women in her family. "Sometimes I look at Emily and see Lucy," Jennifer commented to Peter. "The same determination, the same generosity, the same capacity to love unconditionally." "And don't you see that Emily also has a lot of you in her, my dear?" Peter replied. "Your courage to start over, your dedication to education, your ability to turn pain into love." Peter's reflection made Jennifer realize that Emily was the result of a lineage of exceptional women. Lucy with her unconditional love, herself with her resilience, and now Emily with her early wisdom and generous heart. During the celebrations of the 5th anniversary of the tunnel's discovery, the family organized a special ceremony at the library. It was a moment of gratitude and reflection on all that had happened. 5 years ago, Jennifer told the gathered audience, "I was a lost woman, seeking a new beginning. Today I am a fulfilled woman, surrounded by love and with a clear life purpose, to honor the legacy of love that Lucy left me." Emily, now a 12-year-old teenager, also spoke during the ceremony. "Grandma Lucy taught me that love is the most powerful force in the universe. That no matter how much time passes, no matter how difficult the situation, love always finds a way to prevail. Our family is living proof of that." During the ceremony, Mrs. Catherine, now 75 but still lucid and active, made a special revelation. "Boys and girls, all these years I've kept with me the last gift that Lucy left. She made me promise to only deliver it when our family was completely happy and united." Mrs. Catherine brought out a small red velvet box. Lucy insisted that this be passed from mother to daughter, from generation to generation. Inside the box was a delicate ring with a small emerald. On the inside of the ring was engraved, "Eternal Love, Lucy's Family." "Jennifer," said Mrs. Catherine, "Lucy wanted you to wear this ring and pass it to Emily when she becomes an adult. It's the symbol of the continuity of our family love." Jennifer put on the ring with tears in her eyes. It was Lucy's last gift, the symbol of the eternal connection between the generations of her family. Emily admired the ring with awe. "When I grow up and wear this ring, I'll remember Grandma Lucy's love every day and pass that love on to my children too." "Exactly, my dear," replied Jennifer. "This ring will be the symbol that our family love never ends." During the party that followed the ceremony, the family received a special surprise. Ryan arrived with his parents, who wanted to learn about the story that had so moved their former son-in-law. "Emily," said the paternal grandmother, "we are very proud of the special granddaughter we have. Your family story inspires us to value our own family bonds even more." Emily was radiant as she introduced her entire extended family to her paternal grandparents. The girl had a natural talent for making everyone feel welcome and connected. "Now you're part of our story too," she told her paternal grandparents. "Because family isn't just about sharing the same blood. Family is about sharing the same love." Emily's wisdom continued to impress all the adults around her. Over the years, the library and the foundation became models for similar projects in various states of Brazil. Jennifer began traveling regularly to consult on creating community libraries and family reunion projects. Emily, now 15 years old, developed a special talent for writing. She began writing her own book, telling the family story from the perspective of a granddaughter who never met her great-grandmother in person, but carried her love in her heart. "I want to tell our story in a way that other children can understand," she explained. "I want them to know that even when we lose someone we love, that love continues to live in other ways." Emily's book promised to be even more touching than Jennifer's, written with the sensitivity and unique wisdom of a young woman who had grown up immersed in a story of unconditional love. Peter, now over 70 years old, began dedicating his time to organizing the family's historical archive. He catalogued every photo, every letter, every object found, creating a true museum of the family saga. "I want future generations to have access to every detail of this story," he explained. "I want our great-grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren to know exactly how Lucy's love brought us together." Richard, always the caring uncle, created a parallel project, a documentary about the family's history. With the help of a filmmaker friend, he was recording testimonies from all family members and people in the community who had participated in the journey. "Our story needs to be preserved not only in books, but also in images and sounds," he said. "I want people to see the emotion on our faces when we talk about Lucy." The documentary was being produced collaboratively, with each family member contributing their perspectives and memories. Emily had a special role in the documentary. With her natural eloquence and deep emotional connection to the story, she became the main narrator, guiding viewers through the family saga with a mix of wisdom and innocence that deeply touched those who watched. During the documentary filming, Emily made a reflection that became one of the film's most memorable lines. "People always ask if I feel sad about not having met Grandma Lucy in person. But I don't feel sad because she's alive in every corner of our home, in every story we hear, in every loving gesture from our family. Grandma Lucy didn't leave. She just transformed into pure love that lives in all of us." This statement from Emily perfectly summarized the feeling of the entire family. Lucy wasn't a distant memory, but a constant presence that guided and inspired every decision, every project, every moment of family togetherness. 8 years after the discovery of the tunnel, the family had become a national reference in social projects based on family love. The Lucy Johnson Eternal Love Foundation, operated in 15 Brazilian states, had helped hundreds of families reunite and maintained over 50 community libraries. Emily, now 17 years old, had grown into an exceptionally mature and articulate young woman. She was often invited to speak at universities, family conferences, and social projects, always carrying the emerald ring that symbolized the continuity of Lucy's love. "My great-grandmother taught me that love has no limits of time or space," she would say in her speeches. "She taught me that when we truly love someone, that love multiplies and spreads, touching lives we can't even imagine." Jennifer watched Emily's presentations with a mix of pride and emotion. Her daughter had exceeded all expectations, transforming into a natural leader who inspired people of all ages. "Sometimes I wonder what Lucy would think of all this," Jennifer commented to Mrs. Catherine during one of their afternoon conversations. "My dear," Mrs. Catherine replied with a smile, "Lucy knew exactly what was going to happen. She always said you would spread love around the world and that your daughter would be even more special. She was right, as always." Mrs. Catherine's wisdom, now at 80 years old, continued to be a beacon for the entire family. She had become the official matriarch, the guardian of the memories and traditions that Lucy had left behind. During the 8th anniversary celebrations of the discovery, the family received an emotional surprise. The city mayor announced that the street where the library was located would be renamed Lucy Johnson Miller Street. "It's a fitting tribute," the mayor said during the ceremony, "for a woman who, even after passing, continues to spread love and unity in our community." Emily cut the symbolic ribbon at the inauguration of the new street sign, moved to see her great-grandmother's name officially immortalized. "Now Grandma Lucy will be present even in the library's address," she commented, beaming. The street inauguration ceremony was attended by hundreds of people from across the region. Lucy's story had touched so many lives that she had become a beloved and respected figure throughout the community, even among those who had never met her personally. During the ceremony, Jennifer gave a speech that summarized the family's entire journey. 8 years ago, we found a tunnel that changed our lives forever. But today, we understand that the true tunnel Lucy built wasn't made of stone and concrete. It was made of love, hope, and determination. A tunnel that connects hearts across time and continues to grow every day, with every person our story touches, with every family our foundation helps reunite. Jennifer's speech was met with an emotional round of applause. The transformation of the shy, insecure teacher into a respected community leader was further proof of the transformative power of Lucy's love. Emily, preparing to take her college entrance exams, had already decided to study psychology with a specialization in family therapy. Her goal was to further professionalize the Foundation's work, offering specialized psychological support to families in the process of reuniting. "I want to help people deal with the complex emotions that arise when families reunite," she explained. "It's not always easy to process years of separation, even when the reunion is happy." Emily's maturity and vision for the future impressed everyone. At 17, she already had a deep understanding of family dynamics that many adults lacked. Peter, now a proud grandfather, made it a point to accompany Emily to her presentations whenever possible. The connection between them was special. He saw in Emily the realization of the dreams he and Lucy had shared when they were young. "Emily is everything Lucy and I dreamed our descendants could be," he confided to Jennifer. "She carries the best of all the generations of our family." The family kept growing with marriages and births of Emily's cousins. Jennifer's house had officially become the center of all family celebrations. Baptisms, birthdays, graduations. There was always a reason to bring everyone together. Emily loved these family gatherings. She dedicated herself to getting to know every new member of the extended family, always telling Lucy's story to the younger children and keeping alive the tradition of unconditional love that had been the foundation of the entire saga. "Aunt Emily, tell us again the story of Grandma from the tunnel," the younger cousins would ask during the parties. And Emily would always tell it, with the same affection and emotion as the first time, adapting the narrative to each child's age, but never losing the essence of the message. True love never gives up. 9 years after the discovery of the tunnel, Emily took the college entrance exam and was accepted into psychology at the best university in the region. The whole family celebrated as if it were a collective achievement. "Lucy would be so proud," said Annette during the acceptance party. "Your great-granddaughter will be the first in the family to attend university." Emily was moved but also worried about having to move away from the library and the Foundation to study. "Don't worry," reassured Jennifer. "The library and the Foundation will still be here waiting for you to come back even better, prepared to help people." "And besides," added Peter, "you'll be able to develop new projects at the university. I'm sure your professors will be interested in our story." Peter was right. From the first day of class, Emily caught the attention of her professors with her maturity and practical experience in complex family dynamics. She developed a research project on positive psychological impacts of late family reunions, using her own family as the main case study. "Our story isn't just moving," she explained to her advisor. "It's a case rich in psychological aspects that can help other professionals better understand these situations." During her college years, Emily maintained constant contact with the family and continued participating in the Foundation's activities on weekends and holidays. She brought college friends to see the library and learn about the family's history. Many were so impressed that they volunteered to do work at the Foundation. "It's amazing how your story touches anyone," commented one of Emily's classmates. "It's impossible not to be moved and not want to help in some way." The university ended up becoming another partner of the Lucy Johnson Eternal Love Foundation, with students of psychology, social work and education, developing outreach projects related to the Foundation's work. Emily graduated at 22 with academic honors and a specialization in systemic family therapy. Her thesis was on the therapeutic power of positive family narratives, and was considered one of the best in her class. During the graduation party, Emily gave an emotional speech. "Today I graduate not only as a psychologist, but as the official heir to a mission that began with a great-grandmother who never gave up on loving. Now I have the academic tools to further professionalize the work our family started. I will dedicate my career to helping families reconnect and discover the transformative power of unconditional love." Jennifer watched Emily's graduation with tears of pride. "Your daughter had become a competent professional and an exceptionally compassionate person." "I'm sure Lucy is proud," Peter whispered to Jennifer during the ceremony. "I'm sure she always knew Emily would get this far," Jennifer replied, touching the emerald ring she wore on her finger. With Emily graduated, the Lucy Johnson Eternal Love Foundation gained even more credibility and professionalism. Emily implemented psychological care protocols for reunited families, trained volunteers in emotional support techniques, and developed educational materials about healthy family dynamics. The library also evolved, becoming a full community center with educational activities, support groups, and personal development programs. Emily created a special program called Circles of Love, where people who had experienced family separations would meet weekly to share experiences and support each other. I found that one of the most important things in the family reunion process is for the person not to feel alone, she explained. When you share your story with people who have been through similar situations, the healing process becomes faster and more complete. The Circles of Love became so popular that Emily had to create several groups to meet the demand. People came from distant cities to attend the sessions. 10 years after the tunnel's discovery, the family organized a special celebration. Emily, now 23 and already established professionally, had just been nationally recognized for her work in family therapy. During the celebration, Mrs. Catherine, now 82 but still sharp, made a statement that moved everyone. "Kids, you know I met Lucy when she was a girl. Well, I want you to know that she already dreamed of changing the world through love. She used to say, 'Catherine, one day my family will spread so much love that it will heal many people's hearts. Look around. See how many people our story has touched, how many families our foundation has helped. Lucy achieved what she always dreamed of.'" Mrs. Catherine's statement brought a new perspective to the whole journey. Lucy hadn't just saved love for her own family. She had planted seeds of love that kept growing and multiplying through the foundation's work. Emily was deeply moved by Mrs. Catherine's words. "Mrs. Catherine, are you saying Grandma Lucy already knew our story would help other people?" "Of course she knew, my dear granddaughter. Lucy was a visionary. She didn't build that tunnel just to keep memories. She built it knowing that one day you would turn that love into something bigger." This revelation brought an even deeper dimension to Lucy's legacy. She hadn't just been a loving mother who never gave up. She had been a woman with a vision for the future that transcended her own family. During the celebration, Emily announced her next project. She was writing a practical manual for professionals working with family reunions. "I want to share everything I've learned academically and through experience about how to help families in the reconnection process," she explained. "Our knowledge can't stay just with us." Emily's manual promised to be a valuable tool for social workers, psychologists, and other professionals working with families. She was organizing workshops across the country to teach her techniques and approaches. Jennifer, now 45, had become a national reference in community education. Her experience as the local school principal and her dedication to the library had caught the attention of the Department of Education, which invited her to join a national committee on community libraries. "It's incredible to think that everything started with a divorced mother seeking a fresh start," reflected Jennifer during an interview. "And today our story is influencing national public policies." Jennifer's personal transformation was impressive. The insecure woman who had arrived in St. Anthony's Hill had become a respected leader, a proud mother, and a guardian of the legacy of love that Lucy had left. Peter, at 75 years old, remained active and involved in all family projects. He had become the family's official historian, organizing archives that documented every step of the journey begun with the discovery of the tunnel. "I want nothing to be lost," he would say. "I want 100 years from now, our descendants to still know every detail of the story of how Lucy's love brought us together." The archive organized by Peter had become a true historical library, with thousands of photos, documents, letters, and testimonies organized chronologically. Richard, together with his wife Teresa, had finished the documentary about the family. The 2-hour film told the entire saga from the discovery of the tunnel to the Foundation's current projects. The Tunnel of Eternal Love, that was the documentary's title, was being shown at documentary film festivals and had sparked interest from a production company for national distribution. "Our story will reach millions of people through this film," celebrated Richard. "Imagine how many families could be inspired to reunite." The documentary's success brought even more visibility to the Foundation's work. Donations increased significantly, and many companies offered to sponsor the expansion of the projects. Emily took advantage of the documentary's visibility to launch a national campaign called Love Without Borders, encouraging separated families to search for one another. If our story can inspire even one family to reunite, all our effort will have been worth it, she declared during the campaign launch. The Love Without Borders campaign included a website where people could register information about missing relatives, a network of trained volunteers to assist in searches, and partnerships with public agencies to facilitate access to official records. In less than a year, the campaign had facilitated over 200 family reunions across the country. Each success story was celebrated as a collective victory for the family. "It's as if Grandma Lucy created a chain of love that never stops growing," observed Emily during a foundation meeting. During the 15 years that followed the discovery of the tunnel, Emily married a colleague psychologist she met during one of the foundation's workshops. Charles had been captivated not only by Emily, but by the entire family history and mission. The wedding was held at Jennifer's property, with the library decorated for the occasion. Emily made sure to include elements that honored Lucy in every detail of the ceremony. "I want Grandma Lucy to be an honored presence at my wedding," she said during the preparations. During the ceremony, Emily carried a bouquet made with flowers grown from the ancient seeds that Lucy had left. The engagement ring was placed alongside Lucy's emerald ring, symbolizing the continuity of family love. Peter walked Emily down the aisle, moved to be able to represent all the family generations in that special moment. "Lucy would be so happy," he whispered to Emily before giving her away to the groom. "She is happy, Grandpa," replied Emily. "I feel her presence with us." Charles was quickly absorbed into the family and became an active collaborator in the foundation. His specialization in couples therapy perfectly complemented Emily's work with families. 2 years after the wedding, Emily gave birth to a girl who was named Lucy Emily, a tribute to the great-grandmother and a continuation of the tradition of strong female names in the family. The birth of little Lucy was celebrated by the entire community. Mrs. Catherine, now 87 years old, insisted on being one of the first people to meet the baby. "This girl is going to be special," she declared, holding little Lucy in her arms. "She carries the name and strength of our original Lucy." Jennifer, now a grandmother, was moved to see the continuation of the family lineage that Lucy had fought so hard to preserve. "Now we have 4 generations of strong women," she said, observing Mrs. Catherine, representative of Lucy's generation, herself, Emily, and little Lucy. Lucy's dream of having a large, close-knit family has been completely fulfilled. Emily wore Lucy's emerald ring with even more pride now that she had a daughter to whom she would one day pass the family symbol. "Little Lucy," she whispered to the baby, "you will grow up knowing the story of your great-great-grandmother and will help continue spreading love throughout the world." Little Lucy grew up immersed in the family history, surrounded by the love of a large and dedicated family. From a very young age, she showed a strong personality and a natural curiosity that greatly resembled the women who came before her. By the age of 3, the girl could already tell simplified versions of the story of the tunnel great-great-grandmother, and loved playing in the library, especially in the section that preserved Lucy's original belongings. "Mommy, when I grow up, will I help families too?" little Lucy asked during a visit to the library. "If that's what your heart tells you, my love," replied Emily, "but you'll be able to choose any path you want. The important thing is that it's a path full of love." Emily's response reflected the wisdom she had learned over the years. Each generation should have the freedom to find their own way of contributing to the world, while always maintaining the core values of love and family that Lucy had established. 20 years after the discovery of the tunnel, the Lucy Johnson Eternal Love Foundation had become one of the country's leading organizations in family work. With Emily leading the psychological aspects and Jennifer coordinating the educational aspects, the foundation operated in all U.S. states and had inspired similar projects in other Latin American countries. Mrs. Catherine, now 92 years old, remained lucid and active, being considered the official matriarch of the entire St. Anthony's Hill community. She continued to tell stories of Lucy to anyone who would listen, keeping the memory of her friend alive through her affectionate words. Little Lucy, now 5 years old, had become the library's mascot. She greeted visitors with ease, told stories to other children, and already showed signs of the natural leadership that characterized the women in her family. Great-great-grandma Lucy made a special place to keep love, she explained to library visitors, and now we spread that love to everyone. The girl's eloquence impressed everyone who met her. At just 5 years old, she already intuitively understood the essence of the family mission. Peter, at 85 years old, continued to actively participate in all family activities. His longevity and vitality were attributed by the family to the happiness he found in reconnecting with Jennifer and meeting Emily and little Lucy. "Finding my family gave me 20 extra years of life," he used to say. "Love really is the best medicine." During a special meeting to mark the 20th anniversary of the tunnel's discovery, Emily proposed an ambitious project, creating a community university dedicated exclusively to the study and practice of family love. "I want us to establish a center of excellence where people from all over the world can come to study positive family dynamics, reunion techniques, and ways to transform individual love into community love." Emily's proposal was visionary. The Lucy Johnson Family Love University would be the world's first institution dedicated exclusively to the scientific and practical study of love as a transformative social force. "Our great-grandmother planted a seed," Emily continued. "Now we have the opportunity to turn that seed into a tree that will bear fruit for the entire world." The university project gained immediate support from the entire family and the community. Local business people offered to contribute to the construction. National and international universities expressed interest in partnerships, and the federal government signaled support through education incentive programs. Jennifer Miller, now 55 years old and nationally recognized as a community education expert, would be the first dean of the new university. "It's amazing how our journey, which began with a personal discovery, is turning into something that can impact the world," she reflected during the project announcement. Little Lucy participated in the university announcement ceremony, laying the first symbolic stone of the future campus. "This little stone is for great-great-grandmother Lucy," she said, serious as an adult. "So she knows we'll never forget her." The girl's gesture moved everyone present and was widely covered by the national media, becoming a symbol of the generational continuity of the love project started by Lucy. The construction of the Lucy Johnson Family Love University took 3 years to complete. During this period, Emily developed the academic curriculum, Jennifer organized the administrative structure, and Charles created the psychological care protocols that would be offered to the community. Peter, even at an advanced age, insisted on participating in all phases of the project, offering valuable insights on how to preserve the essence of Lucy's mission within a larger institutional structure. The university was inaugurated when little Lucy turned 8 years old. The inauguration ceremony brought together national authorities, representatives from international universities, and hundreds of families who had benefited from the foundation's work over the years. During the ceremony, Mrs. Catherine, now 95 years old, was honored as guardian of Lucy Johnson's memory. Despite her advanced age, she insisted on giving a speech. "Boys and girls, when Lucy was young, she used to say that one day our family's love would reach the four corners of the world. Today, seeing this university being inaugurated, I know she was right. Lucy's love has no borders." Mrs. Catherine's speech was met with deep emotion by all present. Her longevity and clarity were seen as blessings that allowed a direct connection to the origin of the whole story. Emily, now 33 years old and the university's academic director, gave the main inauguration speech. "This university represents the natural evolution of a love that began in the heart of a mother who never gave up. Here, we will scientifically study what Lucy always knew intuitively, that love is the most powerful force for transforming individuals, families, and communities. But we won't study just to understand. We will study to apply, to multiply, to spread this love even more effectively." Little Lucy participated in the ceremony by cutting the inauguration ribbon together with Emily and Jennifer, symbolically representing the continuity of the project through the generations. "Now, we have a special school to teach about love," she declared after cutting the ribbon, drawing smiles from the entire audience. The university began its activities with 15 different courses, ranging from specializations in family therapy to training programs for volunteers in family reunions. Students from various countries enrolled in the pioneering programs. The campus was built around the original library, keeping Lucy's Tunnel as the central and sacred point of the entire institution. Visitors could see the place where it all began and understand the origin of the work that now extended worldwide. Little Lucy, now attending regular school in the city, remained a constant presence at the university. She had become a sort of child ambassador, receiving important visitors and telling the family story with the ease of someone who grew up immersed in that narrative. My great-great-grandmother loved so much that even today, even though she's no longer here, she continues to help families, she explained to international visitors, always in Portuguese mixed with some English words she was learning at school. The girl's poise impressed educators and researchers who came to study at the university. Many commented that she was a living example of how consistent family love can shape balanced and compassionate personalities. Emily and Charles had a second child, a boy named Peter Richard, honoring the great-grandfather and great-uncle who had contributed so much to the family's unity. The birth of little Peter brought even more joy to the family. Little Lucy became a caring and protective sister, always explaining to the baby about the family's history and the university's projects. "Peter, when you grow up, you'll help us spread even more love," she whispered to her baby brother. "Our family has been doing this for a long time." Jennifer, now a grandmother of 2 grandchildren, divided her time between the university's presidency and special moments with the children. She had found a perfect balance between professional responsibility and family dedication. "Lucy always dreamed of a big family," she commented, watching the children play in the backyard where it all began. "I think she would be amazed to see how our family has grown and multiplied." Peter, even at 88 years old, made a point of participating in his great-grandchildren's upbringing, telling stories about the early days of the reunited family and teaching values he considered fundamental. "Children," he said to Lucy and Peter, "you are the 5th generation of our reunited family. Carrying this legacy is a great responsibility, but it's also a wonderful gift." Little Lucy took her great-grandfather's words very seriously. At 10 years old, she already showed interest in studying at the family university when she grew up. "I want to learn everything about how to help families," she declared during a family gathering. "I want to be even better than Mommy and Grandma at it." The girl's ambition was nurtured by the whole family, but always with care not to create excessive pressure. Emily made sure to remind her daughter that she would have complete freedom to choose her own path. "The most important thing, my love, is that you are happy and do good. If it's working with families, great. If it's in another way, that will be perfect too." 25 years after the discovery of the tunnel, the Lucy Johnson Family Love University had become a global reference. Researchers from all continents came to study the methods developed by the family, and the family reunion programs had facilitated thousands of reconnections in dozens of countries. Emily, now 40 years old, had become an international authority in systemic family therapy. Her books were translated into multiple languages, and she was often invited to international conferences. Little Lucy, now 15 years old, had become an articulate young woman passionate about her studies. She mastered 3 languages, led social projects at her school, and already displayed the natural charisma that characterized the women in her family. "I'm going to study psychology and international relations," she announced during a family gathering. "I want to bring our family's work to the whole world." Peter, at 93, still actively participated in some family activities, though with less intensity. His longevity was attributed by doctors not only to genetic factors, but also to the emotional well-being provided by his close-knit family. "To live to see 5 generations of my family working together is a gift I don't even know how to thank," he would say in his reflections. Mrs. Catherine had passed away at 97, surrounded by her entire family. Her final moments were peaceful and filled with gratitude, knowing she had fulfilled her promise to Lucy to care for the family until the end. "You can rest easy," were her last words. "Lucy is waiting for me, and I'm going to tell her how beautifully you carried on with the love she left behind." Mrs. Catherine's funeral was a celebration of life that brought together the entire community of St. Anthony's Hill. She had become a beloved figure to all, considered the last direct link to Lucy's era. Emily organized a special memorial for Mrs. Catherine at the university, officially recognizing her fundamental contribution to preserving the family history. "Without Mrs. Catherine, our story would be different," Emily declared during the memorial ceremony. "She was the guardian of secrets, the preserver of memories, and the bridge that connected generations. Her dedication allowed Lucy's love to reach us in its entirety." Little Lucy, deeply moved by Mrs. Catherine's passing, wrote an emotional letter that was read during the memorial. "Mrs. Catherine, thank you for taking care of our story until we could manage on our own. You taught us that preserving memories is an act of love. Now we will continue to safeguard and share all the stories you told us. Great-great-grandmother Lucy must be very happy to reunite with her best friend." The emotional maturity of young Lucy continued to impress everyone around her. At 15, she already demonstrated a deep understanding of life, death, legacy, and continuity that many adults lack. With Mrs. Catherine's passing, Emily decided to create a new project, the Living Memories Archive, where elderly community members could record their stories and knowledge for future generations. "We can't let other important stories be lost," she explained. "Every senior is a living library, and we have a responsibility to preserve that knowledge." The Living Memories Archive project became another pioneering initiative of the university, later adopted by other communities throughout Brazil. 30 years after the tunnel's discovery, Lucy's family had directly impacted the lives of over 100,000 people through the foundation and university programs. Indirectly, through books, documentaries, and research, millions had been touched by the love story that began in a small tunnel in rural Pennsylvania. Jennifer, now 65, decided to retire from the university presidency to dedicate herself fully to her grandchildren and writing projects. She was working on an autobiographical book that would recount every detail of the family journey. "I want to record every moment, every emotion, every discovery," she explained, "so that future generations understand not just the facts, but the feelings we experienced at each stage of this journey." Emily took over as university president, bringing an even more international vision to the institution. Under her leadership, the university established partnerships with organizations from all continents. Young Lucy, now 20 years old and a college student, divided her time between studies and volunteer work at the foundation. She had developed a special project to support children and teenagers in the process of family reunification. "Sometimes it's harder for young people to handle late reunions," she explained. "They have identity and belonging issues that are different from adults' concerns." Young Lucy's work with teenagers once again showed the family's natural talent for understanding and working with complex family dynamics. Peter had passed away at 96, in peace and surrounded by his entire family. His last moments were filled with deep gratitude for the privilege of having lived to see the full flourishing of the family he had helped reunite. "Thank you, Lucy," were his last words, directed to the memory of the woman he had loved in his youth. "We managed to create something beautiful with the love you planted." Peter's funeral was another moment of celebrating life and gratitude for the legacy left behind. Young Lucy made sure to speak during the ceremony. "Great-grandfather Peter taught me that it's never too late to correct past mistakes and build a better future. He taught me that true love always finds a way to overcome difficulties. I will carry these teachings forever." With Peter's passing, Richard became the family's oldest patriarch. At 80 years old, he remained active and dedicated to family projects, considered the guardian of the traditions established by the founders. "Now I'm the oldest," he said with a smile. "A big responsibility, but an even greater honor." Richard began leading the weekly family meetings, keeping alive the traditions of unity and love that had characterized the family since the early days of reunification. The university continued to grow and evolve. At 30 years since its founding, it had become the world's leading reference in studies on family love and reunification dynamics. Young Lucy graduated in psychology and international relations with the highest grades in her class. Her thesis on social impacts of family policies based on unconditional love was considered revolutionary and opened new paths for research in the field. Now I want to create international programs that bring our methods to countries facing major family crises, she announced during graduation. I want great-grandmother Lucy's love to reach the places where it's most needed. Young Lucy's global vision represented the natural evolution of the work started by the family. What began as a personal discovery had transformed into an international mission. Emily, watching her daughter's determination, felt a mix of pride and emotion. Lucy had grown up intuitively understanding the magnitude of the responsibility she carried, but also the beauty of the opportunity she had to positively impact the world. "Your great-grandmother would be proud," Emily told her daughter after graduation. She planted a seed of love that turned into a tree that now bears fruit for the whole world. "And we're not done growing yet," replied young Lucy, with Lucy's emerald ring shining on her finger. "This is only the 4th generation. Imagine what future generations will be able to do with all this accumulated love." Young Lucy's future perspective represented the infinite continuity of the love legacy her great-grandmother had started. The secret tunnel discovered 30 years earlier had transformed into a bridge of love connecting past, present, and future, spreading hope and unity to families worldwide. 40 years after the discovery of the tunnel, the story of Lucy's family had become a mandatory case study in universities worldwide. Sociologists, psychologists, anthropologists, and educators studied the phenomenon of how one person's love had managed to impact so many lives over decades. The young Lucy, now 30 years old and married to a diplomat she met during an international project, was expecting her first child. The 5th generation of the reunited family was about to arrive. During a special family gathering to celebrate the pregnancy, Jennifer, now 75 and a great-grandmother for the first time, shared a moving reflection. 40 years ago, I was a lost woman who found a tunnel by chance. Today we're about to welcome the 5th generation of a family dedicated to spreading love around the world. It's impossible not to see Lucy's hand guiding every step of this journey. Emily, now 50 and internationally recognized as a leading authority in family therapy, added, "The most remarkable thing is that our mission keeps evolving. Each generation finds new ways to apply the principles Lucy taught us. It's as if her love were an inexhaustible source of inspiration." The young Lucy, touching her belly where the baby was growing, said, "This baby will grow up knowing the complete story of our family. They'll know they carry a legacy of love that has already changed thousands of lives, but they'll also have total freedom to choose how they want to contribute to the world." Richard, now 85 but still active, watched the scene with tears of joy. "Lucy always said that true love has no end. Seeing you here, 3 generations working together and expecting the 5th, I understand she was absolutely right." The university had expanded again, creating campuses in other countries and establishing an international network of institutes dedicated to the study and practice of family love. The method developed by the family was being applied in government programs in several countries. The original library, where it all began, remained the sacred heart of the entire operation. Lucy's tunnel continued to be preserved exactly as it was found, serving as a constant reminder of the humble yet powerful origin of the whole mission. Visitors from around the world came to see the tunnel and were moved to understand that a global story of social transformation had begun in that small underground space. The young Lucy had established a special program for these visitors, offering guided tours that told the whole story from the beginning. Her ability to narrate the family saga moved people from all cultures and languages. "My great-grandmother's tunnel teaches us that true love always finds a way to manifest itself," she would tell groups of visitors. "Even when it seems impossible, even when everyone gives up, true love never gives up." Testimonials from visitors who had been inspired by the story to search for their own lost families arrived daily at the university. Every letter, every email, every message was carefully preserved as part of the family's impact archive. When the young Lucy's baby was born, she was named Mary Emily. Mary in honor of great-grandmother Jennifer, and Emily in honor of her grandmother. The tradition of strong female names continued. The birth of little Mary Emily was celebrated by the entire international community that had formed around the family's work. Congratulations messages arrived from all continents. This girl represents the continuation of one of the most beautiful love stories in the world, declared a Harvard professor who had studied the family's case for years. Little Mary Emily grew up immersed in love, tradition, and purpose, just like all the generations that came before her. At 3 years old, she already showed the curiosity and affection for others that characterized her lineage. "Grandma, tell the story of the great-great-grandmother from the tunnel," she would ask Emily, who always obliged with the same warmth as always. "Once upon a time there was a woman who loved so much that this love never ended," Emily would begin, and little Mary Emily listened fascinated, absorbing once again the story that would shape her understanding of the world. End of story. Now tell us what you thought of this touching story. Where are you watching from? If this saga of eternal love has touched your heart, share your emotions in the comments. Do you believe Lucy always knew her family would reunite? We'd love to read your honest opinion. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. Don't forget to leave your like and, most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other moving stories like this one.